Ziegler will inbounds, and here we go.
When they turn down Gainey, now Mashak's got to go.
He will fire. He wins it! Jahmai Mashak wins it!
How are we doing, folks? Welcome back to another episode of Steele Talking Sports. I'm your host, Jay Steele, and let's get talking. Welcome back. It is Monday, March 3rd, 2025, and let's talk some sports. I know it's been a while since I've been on the airwaves. I skipped the Super Bowl. We had a good run in the NFL playoffs, but that came to an end with those dirty Eagles winning the Super Bowl. So it's probably a good thing I didn't do a Super Bowl episode because it would have been mainly all Chiefs-based, and I would have put out bad content for the people. So, here we are. It's March. You know what that time it is. It's March Madness, one of the greatest times of the year. Conference tournaments have already started with the Atlantic Sun. So I'll get to that in a little bit. What are we talking about? It's March Madness. It's basketball season. Things have really heated up. I've been locked into college basketball and even some NBA for quite some time now. I feel like I'm seeing the board pretty well. I'll probably get on here and give out some bad picks, but that's just how it goes. But let's jump right into it. Monday, March 3rd. Like I said, one conference tournament kicked off yesterday. That was the A-Sun. We had two games, Austin Peay and North Florida. Austin Peay ended up getting the W, even though they were down by at least 10 double digits early. Ended up winning the game 90-69 with a huge second half. They outscored North Florida 52-24 in the second half. What a comeback. And then the other game in that conference tournament, Central Arkansas beat Stetson. They kind of controlled that one start to finish, I feel like. So those two teams move on. They play again today. We'll get to those games. There's a couple of bigger matchups that I'll go over. I won't go over every college basketball game because, honestly, I don't know a lot about every team. I listen to shows that do cover every single basketball game. I'm not quite at that experience level yet, but I will pick out the games that I like the best, and we'll go through those tonight. Also, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about conference tournaments, look at some odds on DraftKings for those, and then I might dip my toe in the water in one or two NBA games for tonight's slate as well. Going to try to produce a little bit more content this time around. If you have been following me, I started around this time last year when DraftKings and gambling went live in North Carolina. So we're at a year of producing content. I want to get a little bit better and be more productive throughout this college basketball run and the NBA playoffs run coming up soon. So let's hope I can produce more content and be a little bit better at this and give some good value to the people out there. First up on Monday night at 7 o'clock, we've got Wake Forest on the road at the Duke Blue Devils. Duke is currently laying 19.5 points. This number started out at 20.5, maybe 21.5. So it's come down a little bit. I told myself earlier that if I saw this dip below 20, I might bet Duke. Duke has just been crushing teams recently. Their last 5 games beat Florida State 100-65, Miami 97-60, Illinois 110-67, UVA 80-62, and Stanford 106-70. It's kind of unreal right now, but I mean, 3 of those 5 games were at home. They won by 36, 47, and 35. I know the Illinois game was at Madison Square Garden, but that might as well have been at home. They are just crushing teams. Even going back to Cal on February 12th, 70-57. They beat North Carolina by 17 at home. Their last close win was at home against NC State by 10 points on January 27th. Before then, they beat Miami 89-54. Notre Dame 86-78. That's an 8-point win. That's kind of close. And then they beat Pitt by 29 points at home, 76-47. They are just demolishing teams right now. And really, it's just because the ACC is so poor. But I don't know, man. Duke is a really good team right now. There's not really anybody that compares to them except for Auburn, Alabama on the right day. But they are head and shoulders above the rest of college basketball right now. That's for sure. So initially, I definitely like the Duke side right now. Let's go to the ATS record. You guys know I like to use oddsshark.com. They use or they have some great info and details about individual matchups. So right here, if I look at the team records, Duke obviously 26-3. They're 16-0 at home. Their ATS record at home is 10-6. And then over under at home is 9-7. Conversely, on the other side, Wake Forest is 20-9 overall. They are 6-5 on the road this season, with an ATS record of 6-5 away as well. They're 1-4 ATS in their last 5 games, and 5-1. And OddsShark says 5-1 ATS in their last 6 games against Duke. Duke, on the other hand, 5-0 ATS in their last 5. They've won 6 straight, 16-0 at home, 10-0 straight up in their last 10 games when playing at home against Wake Forest. So they do not lose to Wake at home. Let's see. Previously this season, on the 25th, Duke beat Wake on the road at Wake 63-56. Wake did cover the 11.5 points there. Over-under was set at 136, and that game went over. Halftime score was Duke 35-22. And Duke out-rebounded Wake 46-29. Also outshot them from the 3, 9 for 32, while Wake was only 3 for 18. So, yeah, in the last matchup, it was pretty much a drubbing. Even though the score didn't look that way, Duke didn't get the cover. But, I mean, a 13-point lead at halftime, that's pretty poor. Wake only put up 22 points at home in the first half. I kind of think that might be the same score line here, except for Duke puts up 40+. Duke's been rolling teams early in the first half. It's been pretty ugly, to be honest. I mean, they by the 8 or 10 minute mark in the first half, they usually have a 12-point lead. Every time that I see one of these games, I'm like, damn it, I should have bet Duke first half. So let's take a peek at the halftime number, because I kind of like that spot. 12.5. That makes sense. They had a 13-point lead earlier in the season at halftime. That is a spot-on number for this spot. I would say wait and bet this game closer to game time, but if I had to make a pick, I would make the Duke minus 19.5 right now. You just can't go against them at home. They're too good. They're too powerful. They crush teams. So Duke minus 19.5. Let's lock it up, and let's move on to the next game. So the ASUN has 4 games in their conference tournament tonight. Austin P plays North Alabama. North Alabama is laying an 11.5 points. I would take the 11.5 with Austin P just because they played a game yesterday on that same floor in North Alabama against North Florida. So maybe they're comfortable with being in Alabama. They cover the 11.5, but North Alabama wins that game. Queens versus Gulf Coast. I kind of like this one because Queens is a Charlotte, North Carolina school, but I don't think they can cover. Florida Gulf Coast -4.5. The one I really like is Eastern Kentucky against Jacksonville. These teams have played 2 pretty competitive games this season. And I think, if I'm right, Eastern Kentucky has lost 3 straight to Jacksonville. So I like this as a revenge spot for the Colonels. Let me just get over to OddsShark. Last 3 matchups. Jacksonville 59-55. That was just a week ago on the 24th of February. In January, Jacksonville 82-75. And then last year, looks like in March in the conference tournament, Jacksonville 67-65. Yes. So Jacksonville's won 3 straight. I like the revenge spot here for Eastern Kentucky. Over the last 10 games, Eastern Kentucky is 8-2, 4-0 at home, 4-2 on the road. Jacksonville is only 5-5. So Eastern Kentucky is coming into the tournament on a better hot streak. Eastern Kentucky is also 6-2 ATS in their last 8 games, while Jacksonville is 1-4 ATS in their last 5. Yeah, I really like Eastern Kentucky in this spot. I think they're the better team. They've just had some, Jacksonville's kind of had their number the last 3 games. But over the last 10-game stretch, I like the way Eastern Kentucky is playing. I will be betting this game. I will take the +2.5, but I also will play the money line at +125. I think that's good value. And in those 2 tournament games yesterday, the favorite had the lead for a little bit, and then the dogs just showed up out of nowhere. I'm going to keep taking the dogs in this ASUN tournament, besides Florida Gulf Coast. Moving on. Got some SWAC games tonight. I can't confidently give out any SWAC, Southland, or MEAC games. They are too evenly matched all the time. The underdog could win by 10 points. The favorite could win by 10 points. It's really a toss-up. So I'm going to skip over those games. At 9 o'clock, here we go. We've got Kansas on the road at Houston. Kansas has fallen apart. This is not the Bill Self Kansas Jayhawks that we know and love. They have not been right all season long. Kansas comes into this game losing 3 of their last 5, including 2 big losses at Utah, 74-67, and at BYU, 91-57. They followed that up with a nice win against Oklahoma State and Colorado, barely, and then lost to Texas Tech. Houston's coming in on an 8-game win streak. We know what Houston is. They're suffocating on defense. Kelvin Sampson is just an intense coach. Gets the most out of his guys every single game, it seems like, and they're never out of a game, but they can easily run it up on somebody really, really quickly. Kansas just can't shoot the ball right now, and I don't know what is wrong with them, but it's hard to make heads or tails of this team. Let's see. Their last matchup on the 25th, Houston won 92-86. I believe that might have been an overtime game. In March last year, Houston crushed them 76-46. I think that was a conference tournament game. And then February 3rd of 24, Kansas won 78-65. And that's the last time they played as conference foes. Last 10 games, Kansas 5-5. with a 1-4 away record, 1-4 against the spread as well. Houston 9-1, 4-1 at home, 5-0 on the road. Their one loss came to Texas Tech by 1 point at home. Since then, they've rattled off 8 straight, including covering a 9.5 number against Baylor on February 10th, covering a -12 against Arizona State on February 18th, and then not covering the other day a -13.5 against Cincinnati. So in this range of numbers, that's kind of close to what the number is now at 9.5. I just think Kansas is done. They can't shoot the ball. Hunter Dickinson has games where he looks great and then he falls off the map and looks useless. So I don't really know. This game is really tough to get a beat on because I don't know what kind of Kansas team we're gonna get. But I'm gonna bet Houston. It kind of stinks a little bit. I actually think this should be a little bit higher at like 12.5, 13.5, but I don't know. Kansas sucks, so give me Houston minus the 9.5, and we'll just move on. There's only one more game I like, and this is just based on some of the guys that I follow, the Sports Gambling Podcast, the College Basketball Experience. They really like Northern Colorado, and I do too. This team is 21-8. They're at Weber State, who is 11-20. The number is only 8.5. I just think it's short, so I'm going to lay the 8.5 with Northern Colorado, and not really think about it too much. They're a much better team. I think this should be over 10. So, yeah, I'm just going to bet the 8.5 and go do something else and enjoy my night. All right, let's talk some college basketball conference tournaments. Let's see. Let's get over to team futures on DraftKings. Conference tournament winner. Like I said, that Atlantic Sun tournament is going on right now. I do like that Eastern Kentucky team. Their odds to win the tournament are plus 2,500. The two favorites, Lipscomb and North Bama, not really a lot of value at minus 170 and plus 240. There is some value on Florida Gulf Coast at plus 950 if anybody likes that. Let's move to some of the bigger conferences. Well, I guess the ACC and SEC haven't finished their regular season, so they won't be available yet. That makes sense. Final Four appearances. How about we do that? Obviously, the top of the list, you've got Duke, Auburn, Houston, Florida, Bama, Tennessee, Iowa State, St. John's, Michigan State, and Texas Tech. Those 10 teams, starting with Duke and Auburn at minus 135 and finishing with Texas Tech at plus 600. Those are your short odds to make the Final Four. I really like the St. John's team. Rick Pitino is doing a fantastic job there. I really like their odds to get to the Final Four. Other teams in that next tier, starting at 8-1 with Wisconsin, Maryland 9-1, Missouri at 11-1, A&M, Texas A&M at 10-1. I like those. Kansas is really mispriced at plus 1,300 right now. I would not get in on that. Maybe let them lose another game if you want to. Clemson at plus 1,600. I really like that number. They're a really good team. UConn sitting at 19-1. It's Danny Hurley. He's won 2 back-to-back national titles. don't count him out. But I don't like the way that team's playing right now. And then Creighton plus 2,200 and Oregon plus 3,000. Those jump out to me. Ace, stop. And then just a flyer because this team scores a lot of points and they beat everybody by a lot. VCU at 60-1. That would be a interesting play there. As far as national champion goes, Auburn plus 340, Duke plus 370 right now. Those are your two favorites. I like St. John's at 25-1, man. Rick Pitino, don't count him out. Slick Rick, best coach in the game. Ace, stop it. No, stop. Sorry. Dog will not stop barking. I can't help that. Slick Rick Pitino plus 2,500. Really like that play. Other than that, I mean, it's really hard to go outside of the top six. Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama. Head and shoulders the best six teams in America. St. John's could be in there. I think St. John's would be my sixth best team besides I would put them above Alabama right now just because of the way Alabama lost to Tennessee. Buzzer beater. It was just a bad way to lose, getting a 5-second call with 3 seconds to go. They have trouble with slower teams. St. John's is a slower team too. So I like St. John's before I like Alabama in that scenario. If I had to pick a long shot to win the title, I kind of like Maryland at plus 4,500. Texas Tech right there at 40-1 as well. Yeah, there's nobody else that really jumps out beyond that number to me. So let's move on to the NBA for tonight. Monday, March 3rd. There's some good games out here. Got the Warriors in Charlotte taking on the Hornets. That's kind of a cool game. Del Curry, Steph Curry's dad, is one of the play-by-play announcers for the Hornets. So anytime the Warriors come to Charlotte, that's always a cool experience. Also, we have the other Curry brother on the team. So that's pretty neat. At least I think so, right? I don't know. The Hornets suck so bad, I kind of stopped paying attention to them. Let's see. Yes, we do still have Seth Curry. So that'll be a cool moment. The two brothers and Pops being able to get together on the court. That'll be awesome. Golden State is laying 12.5 points. Charlotte stinks. So, yeah, lay it. Trailblazers at 76ers. Philadelphia is the favorite, minus 2.5. But Philadelphia stinks right now. They've been bad even when Joel Embiid was on the court. Now he's out for the season. They've lost 4 of 5. They did beat the Warriors on Saturday, March 1st. But I don't like this team at all. They're awful. Portland has actually been playing a lot better. They've won 4 of their last 5, including 3 of the last 4 on the road. And they lost last night to Cleveland by 3 points at Cleveland. Or 4 points, I'm sorry, in overtime. I like the way the Blazers are playing, even though they're off a back-to-back. Give me the plus 2.5 with the Blazers. Wizards, worst team in NBA, on the road at the Heat, minus 8. The Miami Heat is laying 8.5 points. The Wizards stink, so yeah, give me the Heat. No bet. Hawks and Grizzlies. Hawks have fallen apart. They suck. Grizzlies are pretty good. minus 8.5 for the Grizz there. Give me the Grizz, no bet. A game I will watch, the Rockets, 37-23 on the road at the Thunder, who are 49-11. God, this team's good. Oklahoma City is laying 10.5 points. Oklahoma City has won 2 of the 3 matchups so far in this calendar season. November 8th beat the Rockets 126-107. The Rockets got a W on December 1st, 119-116. And then the Thunder got a second W on December 14th, 111-96. Oklahoma City's coming off a awesome comeback against the Spurs last night. I did watch most of that game as well. They were down at halftime. They had close to a 10-point deficit sometime in the third quarter, and they still covered the 12.5 by beating the Spurs 146-132. This team is just incredible. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander walked into 31 points last night. Didn't play like 8 or 9 minutes of the fourth quarter because Jalen Williams was just going off for a career high 41 points. So this team can get it done even when their superstar isn't on the court. The Rockets, on the other hand, coming off a loss against the Sacramento Kings 2 nights ago. Let's see. What were the spreads in these 2 games that the Thunder won? So the first matchup, Oklahoma City was favored minus 7.5. They won by 19. In the third matchup, Oklahoma City was favored by 5, and they won by 15 again. So, yeah, 10.5, I think it's short. Oklahoma City can just bludgeon teams with a bunch of points. Their last 5 games, they've scored 146, 135, 129, 128 and a loss, and 130. Yeah, I just think this team is head and shoulders a bit above everybody else. Give me the Oklahoma City Thunder minus the points. And 2 more games, the Kings and Mavericks. I don't know what to make of both of those teams. And then the Pistons and the Jazz. Jazz did play the Blazers last night, so they're on a back-to-back. Detroit played 2 days ago in Brooklyn and won by 20. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Jazz lost to the Pelicans last night, not the Blazers. Yeah, the Pistons are playing much better. Does look like they've got 4 players out tonight. The Jazz have a bunch of players who are game time decisions. That's probably because of the back-to-back. Give me Detroit minus the points, but no bet there. Don't really feel confident about that. But Detroit's a much better team this year and against the Utah Jazz. Let's go over to some NBA futures. Got about, let's see, how many? 34 and 27, so it's 61 games. Yeah, most teams have probably played about 60 games, so there's about 22 games left in the regular season right now. Yeah, let's start eyeballing some NBA futures. As far as the overall champion goes, Oklahoma City at plus 190, Boston at plus 205, Cavs plus 600, and the Lakers at plus 1,500. What do you know? The Lakers are now second in the West with LeBron and Luka. They are 7-2 since Luka joined the team. I've hit the Lakers money line back-to-back nights against the Clippers. They've been mispriced early in the day, and then as it gets closer to game time, the number is a lot shorter. So I'm just saying, like, look at these NBA lines. They are wrong sometimes, and you can catch some tremendous value, especially just on the Lakers. I've been doing it ever since Luka joined the team, and it's been very kind to me. So just keep that in mind. You've got the Warriors at plus 1,500, who look a lot better with Jimmy Butler. Denver Nuggets at plus 1,600. Knicks plus 18. Milwaukee Bucks at plus 45. Wow. So from the seventh most favored team to the eighth most favored team, you go from 18-1 to 45-1. That is a huge jump. Also, that's probably the cutoff line. Like, the Knicks are probably the cutoff line as the 7 teams that could win the title. I don't think the Grizzlies, the Mavericks, the T-Wolves, the Rockets, the Pacers, or the Pistons and Kings, all the way down at 500-1, can win the title. So don't even waste your time except for the top 7 on finals winners lists. One more thing, the LA Lakers to win the Western Conference at plus 650. I do like that bet. I don't know if they can get past like the Nuggets and the Thunder. Obviously, they'd have to go through one or two of them, but maybe somebody knocks one of the others off. But if they had, let's say they played, actually, let's look at the standings. So I can get an idea of who would play who in the playoffs. Nope, I chose NBA standings, not college basketball. Come on, ESPN, work with me here. All right, here we go. So in the West, you've got Oklahoma City 1, Lakers 2, Nuggets 3, Grizzlies 4, Rockets 5, Clippers 6, 7, Warriors, Timberwolves 8, Kings 9, and Mavericks 10. With Phoenix 4 games out of the 10th spot. Phoenix sucks. They will not get there. So you obviously have like the play-in game, whatever nonsense to get you to 8 teams. I'm just going to judge them based on the top 8 right now because those will be your matchups. So Oklahoma City would play the Wolves. Lakers would play the Warriors. Nuggets would play the Clippers. And Grizzlies and Rockets would play each other. Let's see. Rockets win as the 5. Nuggets win as the 3. Yes, if they're all healthy. I know they've had some issues with Aaron Gordon. Westbrook's had a couple of small injuries. Murray is always iffy with the knee or an ankle. But yeah, give me Denver over the Clippers. Lakers and Warriors would be a good matchup, but I would take the Lakers, and then Oklahoma City would rout the Timberwolves. So then you'd have Oklahoma City would play the 5. They would sweep the Rockets. And then 3, 4. Yeah. Lakers would play Denver. I think they've got enough firepower to beat Denver. So yeah, I'm looking at a Oklahoma City and LA Lakers Western Conference Finals matchup right now. You can actually bet that, I think. Exact result. I guess they don't have that right now. I know when you get closer, when we get to the playoff time and they have that tab available on DraftKings, I would pick that result for the Western Conference. But if you want a crazy exact result for the NBA Finals right now, LA Lakers to beat Boston Celtics plus 3,500. And wait for it. LA Lakers to beat Cleveland Cavaliers plus 4,000. 40 to 1. Put $10 on that. You win 410 coming back. LeBron to beat his old team in the finals. Bang. That is my crazy long shot exact result NBA Finals. That wraps it up, folks. I think that's all I'm going to chat about today. 35 minutes back on the airwaves. Hope you all appreciate these picks, betting insights, and strategies. These are just my thoughts. I love to talk sports, so I wanted to get back on here and get back on the wagon, put out content for the people, and get back on this March Madness grind. It's time. It's a great time of the year. We will have an insane amount of matchups coming up the next couple of days as we, the bigger conferences finish their last couple of regular season games. Got Carolina Duke on Saturday. Even though we suck, it's always a good game to enjoy every single year. It'll be in Chapel Hill this week. The first one was in Cameron Indoor, where they had like a 35-point lead. Somehow we only lost by 17, but much, much different environment in Chapel Hill. Obviously, it'll probably be a shorter number, but I do still expect Duke to handle business in that game. I may be back another day during this week, or I may just come back on Sunday when I've got the day off, and get back to the grind with you folks. So I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Please remember to gamble responsibly. Don't bet outside what you can afford. And thank you for checking in. Please check me out on YouTube, Steel Talking Sports. And you can reach out to me on Twitter at Steel_Talking. Hope everybody has a good day. Peace out.